Is there an explanation were you given for the tech that you got?
I'll take the official questions. There wasn't an explanation for the tech that she got. I think it was pretty obvious that stuff was brewing, right? When the officials don't get control of the ball game, when they allow that stuff to happen, and it's been happening all season long. All season long. It's not just this game.
The WNBA is once again mired in controversy after head coach Stephanie White delivered a scathing critique of league officiating. She condemned officials for losing control of the game and failing to eject players whose actions went beyond competitive play and veered into something far more dangerous and deliberate.
To WNBA Fight Night, or as some people are saying, WNBA Raw. What a game that was. We had it all. We had basketball, we had fighting, we had blonde on blonde crime. Oh, such an epic. Oh, goodness. But at the end of the day, it resulted in an Indiana.
In an era where every play is dissected under the microscope of social media, Tuesday night's game between the Indiana Fever and Connecticut Sun became a textbook example of how officials can completely lose control of a basketball game.
Of course, Sophie and Sheldon going down the floor. Sophie tries to wrap her up, and Sheldon gets to the floor, and all hell breaks loose. And Sophie said, I'm not having it. I'm not having it. We'll go. We'll go.
What should have been a celebration of the Fever's advance to the Commissioner's Cup championship was instead overshadowed by incidents that exposed the league's biggest flaw. Officiating more focused on preserving appearances than protecting players from blatant, targeted aggression.
So this kind of started it. They're going back and forth, and Caitlin like, hey, forget you. Boom, shoved her right there, right? Then Marina Mabry already shoving Caitlin, right? She jumping into it, shoving Caitlin to the side, right? Now we get further into the game. Watch this. Watch how this happens, right? So you see Sheldon guarding up, playing pretty good defense. This is what I was going to give her credit on. She was not allowing Caitlin to penetrate, get into the paint, deny her the path to the basket, right? Boom, she bumps. Caitlin drives around. Look, good footwork. Okay, you stand in front of her. I give it to you. Boom, bumps again, spin around. Boom, she's bumping, getting bumpy. And then that happened. I'm like, what was that? What is this play right here, man?
If you're enjoying this, don't forget to subscribe. With just over 4 minutes left in the third quarter and the Fever leading 55-45, Caitlin Clark was working near the top of the key, tightly guarded by Sheldon. What followed wasn't a highlight of basketball brilliance. It was a moment that will be replayed for years for all the wrong reasons. A breakdown of professionalism and officiating. As Clark maneuvered with the ball, Sheldon reached in and made what officials later described as unnecessary contact with wind up and impact. In plain terms, she poked Clark directly in the eye. The foul was clear, the intent debatable. Clark's response was instinctive. She clutched her face in pain. When Sheldon continued to press physically, Clark pushed her away.
Minute left, and all hell broke loose between J.C. Sheldon and Sophie Cunningham, and it is very clear the Indiana Fever, some of these girls on this team are finally fed up. Once again, WNBA, we're not talking about your basketball. We're talking about the WNBA WWE Raw circus that you got going on right now, and we all know this incident with Sophie stems from the incident that was clearly not handled correctly by the WNBA.
This is where the incident crossed the line from routine confrontation to something that demanded immediate ejections. Marina Mabry, with no reason to insert herself, approached Clark from behind and delivered a body check that sent the face of the WNBA crashing to the floor. The crowd's reaction was instant and outraged. They knew they had just witnessed a blatant violation of everything the game stands for. But here's where it gets truly infuriating. After a painfully long review that felt like a Supreme Court deliberation, officials returned with a ruling that defied logic, precedent, and basic decency.
What is this right here, fam? No way you just reach for Caitlin's eyes like that, her face, whatever the case may be. You reach for her head and you scratch her. What are you reaching for right here? What is that? Did she think she was going to shoot? I don't know, man. That's about the best I can give her. Maybe she thought she was about to pull up and trying to put her hand where the ball might be coming. But fam, you literally slapped her in the face, man. Slapped her right in the eyes, man. Come on, fam. Then Caitlyn shoves her, right? Shoves her off of her. Like, get away from me, man. Get away from me. Give me some space.
Sheldon received a flagrant foul for the eye poke, appropriate, given the wind-up and impact that crew chief Ashley Gloss later acknowledged. But what followed ignited a firestorm far beyond Gainbridge Fieldhouse. Caitlin Clark, the victim of both an eye poke and a blindside body check, was assessed a technical foul. Let that sink in. The player assaulted twice in seconds was penalized for her unsportsmanlike reaction, as Gloss explained. Clark reacted improperly toward Sheldon after being poked in the eye. And Marina Mabry? Despite delivering a football-style hit on an unsuspecting opponent, an act so blatant even casual fans expected an ejection, received only a technical foul. No flagrant, no ejection. According to officials, Mabry's contact didn't meet the criteria for a flagrant 2.
Mabry body checking Caitlin Clark to the ground. JC Sheldon all over her. Riding her. Pokes Caitlin Clark in the eye. Oh, man. Caitlin Clark needs to start wearing goggles, folks. Caitlin Clark's going to need to start wearing goggles. Bumps up on Caitlin Clark. Caitlin Clark says, "Get your hands off me." And then here comes Marina Mabry. Boom! Exploding Caitlin Clark like a safety coming downhill in the NFL. There was no flop there. Marina Mabry did a straight beeline run to Caitlin Clark and checked her. You got Lexi Hull saying, "JC, what the hell is wrong with you?" This was all game, folks. All game. Caitlin Clark and the Indiana Fever were getting checked. All game. The Indiana Fever were getting punked. All game. The referees let this physical style of basketball.
When the post-game press conference began, it was supposed to celebrate the Fever's advancement to the Commissioner's Cup Championship. Instead, it became the stage for one of the most scathing indictments of WNBA officiating ever delivered by a head coach. What followed was a masterclass in controlled fury, disguised as measured professionalism. Stephanie White didn't sound like someone venting over a single bad call. She spoke with the authority of someone who's watched the same failures unfold, game after game, week after week. This wasn't an emotional outburst. It was the calculated response of a professional who had reached her breaking point with systemic incompetence.
Cunningham is going back to the locker room, and I'm wondering, I don't know if she just got kicked out, but if they kicked her out and they did not kick Marina Mabry out, then holy shit, because that's the next thing we got to get to. Mabry, for that incident, that Kennedy Carter vicious slam to the ground she just had on Caitlin Clark, they did not throw her out of this game. And I called Stephanie White out on social media. I was like, this is the time where you as a coach, you've got to go, and I'm going to go old school, you've got to go full on Bobby Knight, Indiana Hoosiers, showing your ass out there.
Since the start of the season, a clear pattern has emerged. Caitlin Clark has drawn a disproportionate number of flagrant fouls, yet the lead has largely looked the other way. Late in the game, with the Fever up 87-70 and the outcome sealed, JCS Sheldon stole the ball and headed for a routine layup. Sophie Cunningham, the lone defender, chose to prevent the basket and committed a foul later ruled a flagrant 2. That kind of play happens. What followed, though, was anything but routine, and exposed just how inconsistent the officiating has become.
This is what happens, right? This is what happens. You've got competitive women who are the best in the world at what they do, right? And when you allow them to play physical and you allow these things to happen, they're going to compete. And they're going to have their teammates' backs. It's exactly what you expect, right? Out of fierce competition. So I started talking to the officials in the first quarter, and we knew this was going to happen. You could tell it was going to happen. So they got to get control of it. They got to be better. They got to be better.
Sheldon is going up for a layup. Sophie bear hugs her and takes her to the ground. What I will say is Sophie did not grab her and throw her to the ground. She didn't body slam her. She didn't do anything, in my personal opinion. Maybe I'm biased here, but I'm gonna give you guys my straight up honest opinion on this. She bear hugged her, took her to the ground. Yes, it was intentional. It was absolutely intentional. It was, to me, payback for what was happening the entire game. But she did it in a way that she wasn't gonna injure JC. She was just making it known, like, if the refs aren't gonna handle it, I will handle it. We'll take care of it, but this is not what you're going to do when you come into our house. It was an intentional foul. It was a hard foul. She brought her down. But with that, you guys, JC Sheldon got up and she was ready to go.